Okay, I was like, why is it not? Okay. Hi. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of my podcast. Now, what was I talking about? My name is V Noir, and this week is going to be a minisode, a minisode. Mainly just so I can catch up and everything. I haven't been able to go out and watch movies. Like I really want to see I Love Boosters, Boots Riley new movie, but I haven't been able to. And I want to be mark safe from him, going out and telling people to watch his movie on Twitter and everything like that, which has been kind of funny. Like I follow him on Twitter. I'm never calling it X except for just now because of in reference to that stupid name. But yeah, so I want to see that. I need to see Is God Is as well. So hopefully the next episode I would have seen either both of those movies or at least one of them. Maybe Is God Is first because that's been out longer, so it'll be out of theaters sooner than I Love Boosters, especially because I live in Oakland and he is Bay Area based, San Francisco Bay Area based for people that don't know where I'm talking about in the world. So for a lot of Bay Area directors who have movies that come out, the Grand Lake Theater tends to keep them on in their rotation for much longer than anywhere else. And so someone like Ryan Coogler, who is from Oakland, his movies will be out for like much longer. Like Sinners was out for like the whole of last year. Like it was at Grand Lake Theater for like basically all of last year, or the majority of it at least. And then when it left, it came back again for a much longer time too. So that's like an example. So I have enough time to watch I Love Boosters at least at Grand Lake Theater because of that. Not so much with Is God Is, so I'm like I have to catch that. Um, I know it's on video on demand right now, but I'm still just like I need to see it because black black femme rage, that's something that doesn't really get portrayed in media, honestly, and it's like the person who created it, this is like her directorial debut. She also wrote the stage play for it as well. So it's like, okay, so this is the originator of this um story going further and now directing it and putting it out into the world. So I'm pretty excited to watch it finally. And what else is there? As of me posting this, my RSS feed should be back. I yes. So the two previous episodes that I had only posted onto YouTube directly are now going to be available to stream wherever you listen to podcasts. I also will keep the live recording version of those episodes free on my Patreon, which that's what I've been doing now. On my Patreon is just like recording myself while I am doing the podcast, posting it on there. And now that my RSS feed is back, moving forward, any new episode of my podcast that I will record, like this one, well, actually, not this one. This one specifically will also be free, but any episode from now will be under the paid tier. I want to say that it'll just be like $5 a month. I'm gonna do uh minisodes on there that are just Patreon only, Patreon exclusive, where I'm gonna either talk about like what I'm talking about right now, which is these like Chinese or just in general short form vertical dramas. Or like I'll talk about manga or web comics I'm reading or like TV shows and keep the podcast more movie based. And then that'll also give me time to actually like not only break down what's going on with the story and the storytelling, but also talk more about the how it's shot and like more of like the technical stuff. Because I realized like thinking back on it, I've not really done that as much as I would like to, because there are movies that I've been like, wow, this is like beautifully shot. I loved how they did this or that. Um, and I might remember after the fact that I, after recording it, because these aren't scripted. These are like, again, off the dome podcasts. So I have like maybe a outline of what I want to hit, but it'll just be like in hindsight, I realized I hadn't talked about like structurally what I liked about this film as well, not just the acting, not just the writing, but also just like how it was shot too. So I think, that'll also be another thing I'll do with the podcast and leave the Patreon exclusive episodes. There'll be like mini-sodes as well, not like full hour or so long episodes that I do for the pod. And I think I'm gonna do at least like maybe 2 or 3 of those a month. Something like that. 2 or 3 of those a month. I'll have a free option as well, just so if somebody wanted to subscribe to the Patreon but not like pay for anything, I'll do that. But that'll be more kind of abstract, maybe like video diary of sorts, very much in the vlog era of things. And then there's a higher tier as well that um in the $5 tier. I'm like, I should just look at what I wrote. But in the $5 tier, you would also have access to the Discord server that I created, which would just be like, you can hang out in there, but also at the $10 tier per month, we would do a live stream where we're watching a movie together. And it'll be anything or and it'll be voted on like per month. And I want to, yeah, use it as an opportunity to just like hang out with people and, find movies, either obscure, um, or, not as known. Um, yeah, here we go. Like, view my page, please. I don't know what's going on. Um, Here we go. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, okay. So from the $3 tier, um, you get the extra podcast content, uh, one monthly vlog, and then also access to the Discord server. $5 tier, you get an additional blog, vlog, and then, everything else. And then the $10 tier is everything else, of course, and then the live streams. So at least from the $3 tier, you would have access to at least an additional um video content. So yeah, it would be like 3 things, and then by the tiers, you would either have access to 1, 2, or 3, and then there would just be, in addition, a fourth free video for like anyone who's just, like passing by or whatever. So that means I'm doing 4 videos a month. Which is that's fine. I think I would want to post them on Wednesdays. Wednesday is a nice day. I like Wednesdays. Um, but I'm like, let me not get too distracted. But yeah, I created a Discord. Nobody's on it right now. But at least from the $3 tier, you'll have access. And I think later on, I would probably figure out like admin and stuff. But oh, I have to update it a little bit because I have like a welcome thing. Um, but let me. I have to update the like welcomer thing just to make sure. Because I think it'll be kind of fun if it's like little cards and it's like, oh, you can say what your favorite movies are or something. Um, yeah. Because I wanted to do like a film club in like IRL, but I was realizing that like, oh, it's a lot harder to do kind of more recent movies because of licensing and having to pay for the license and stuff. And I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. So I think doing the virtual film club will be a lot easier because it's like, oh well, I'm just showing it amongst like a small group of people. And I think I wanted to do it where you would have access to it as well after the fact. I mean, when that actually starts happening, I think I'll figure out more of a structure because I don't know if I want to talk along with it and have like that sort of what is it? NTK 3000. What the hell does that stand for? NTK Magical Space Theater. Um Movie reaction. Mystery Science Theater. There you go. I was like, what is this called? Like I could do like a Mystery Science Theater-esque thing where I'm like reacting to the movie while it's happening, which I might have to do in like more of a legality sense because it's like, okay, well, yes, y'all have access to this movie, but also I'm talking through most of it, so technically it's not like pirating or anything like that. But I don't know. I'm going too far off, as I always do. But yeah, so just to get into my quick little topic. But yeah, to get into the topic of the day, which I have to pause because I'm like, wait, it's June, it's Pride Month. Happy Pride. Pride has always been a riot, a protest. Um, I'm like, if this is like the first time you've ever seen and or heard me at all, I am just to state my all of my things. Or yeah, it's like to not get into specifics. I am a queer person. I am non-binary. I strive for androgyny and my definition of androgyny because I'm a black person and I'm not stick, like cuz I feel like um when people think of non-binary ism, it's usually like the face of it is whiteness and thinness and it's like no, I am a person of color. That's just not reality at all. And also, yeah, not to get too far into that, but yeah, I am someone who is non binary. I like being in the middle. I have thought about getting top surgery, but I enjoy the idea of thinking of my chest as like a fun accessory to particular outfits when I'm feeling more in like a very feminine um like sense. And then I also like being really masculine. And I have things like and for me sometimes it's like the most masculine thing you could do is have a chest, like breast and everything like that. But that is again my definition of that for me and my body. You can do whatever you want. If it doesn't resonate with you, it's like, yeah, that it's not a crime to be different from everybody else that says they are a similar thing as you, you know? Like I think that's a big thing that keeps happening and keep coming up is when someone when someone runs into a he him lesbian for the first time in their life, it's just like it blows their minds because they're like, "No, but I'm a lesbian and I don't agree with you. What do you mean there are men who are lesbians? That doesn't make sense." And it's like pronouns does not equal gender. Trans masc or trans men could have this identity that overlaps where they were lesbians beforehand and now they've transitioned and like they were definitely like masc lesbians or more butch lesbians and then they transitioned but they still identify within the lesbian community. It's like why would they all of a sudden stop being a lesbian? And again, that's up to the individual person, and how they identify. And I think, people should be way more like for me, I'm like I believe people. I have like more of a is it like good faith? I forget. God, what is the phrase? Um like basically I'm not gonna think um I'm not gonna just like disregard someone's identity just because it doesn't at first make sense to me, because I'm like, I'm just gonna be in good faith that, what they're saying is what they believe. And who am I to judge or like try to change their definitions for themselves? And so, like that's my gender identity. I use they, them pronouns. I don't like any other pronouns because I feel like they, them fully encompasses all of what I am and who I am. And but at this stage in my life, if I get she heard, if I get he him, I'm no longer offended. Especially when I initially switched to using they them pronouns, I was getting really upset being she heard, but now I don't care anymore. But I'm also like, if I tell you my pronouns and you still misgender me, I am not going to fight you to recognize myself and who I am. I will correct you, but if I correct you a few times and you're still doing it and you're not apologetic about it, because that is the difference. If someone is being corrected and they don't give a fuck, then I'm like, okay, so you just don't respect me or care to listen to me. But if they're being apologetic, it's just like, oh, okay, yeah, you're trying, and in your head, you see me as like a woman light or whatever, and it's a little harder for you to wrap your head around it, but you're trying, right? And I'll give that kind of person grace. But if you are someone who isn't apologetic and you're just she herring me, even though I've corrected you and I've said this, it's like, I'm not going to waste my time. We all have one life to live. I'm not about to argue with someone about my existence because I'm like, I exist. This is me. Those are my pronouns. If you're not going to respect that, I don't. There's no reason for me to talk to you. Like that is at the end of the day, that is what it is. And then so, yes, I said I'm queer, non-binary, gender non-conforming. I'm cozy today in my skeleton onesie. But it's actually kind of hot. I mean, I have my window open, so the breeze is coming in. So I'm like, ah, it's nice. But I also need to do laundry, so I have nothing to wear. But um, so yeah, it's like, and then so that's like my gender identity, but that's not my sexuality, right? Like those are two separate things. I will say I'm someone who's pansexual, and that's just like a general baseline of like, yeah, I'm just attracted to anyone, anything, or whatever. Well, anyone, not any. Well, there's some people that their pronouns are like it. So I guess, yeah. Or thing, like that's those are some people's pronouns. Or like the neo pronouns. I think those are cool and fun. I'm like, we have one life to live and we could be having so much fun just like fucking up um people's expectations and whatnot. But of course we live in a society where the people in power are stubborn and don't want to change and care about capitalism and making money off of people. So, yeah. But to further break it down, um, I'm on the A spectrum. I'm specifically demisexual and I guess demi-romantic. Yeah, I like more demi-romantic. Um, I'm someone who I need to, in order to feel a level of attraction, sexual attraction, I need to get to know them first. Otherwise, I just feel nothing. And I say I'm on the A spectrum and demisexual because, for the most part, I definitely go through life not feeling any sort of sexual attraction to like anyone. And that's like so, and that's why I'm like, I don't even think about sex with another person. Um, but that doesn't mean I'm like sex repulsed or anything like that. There are asexual people who are sex repulsed, and there's asexual people who are sex positive. Um, the A in LGBTQA plus stands for ace. And there's a spectrum. It does not stand for ally. I'm like, it's annoying that that is a debate that keeps coming up for some reason, like every fucking year, and it's like, no, it's just ace. But I'm like, I think a big thing too is like relationship anarchy. Like I feel like that's very important too because um our Western culture, because I was gonna say our society or like American society, but like it is very much a Western thing of like individualism of like two people become a couple and then they become a family unit, they create a family unit, and then that's it. You know, like they might have friends, they might have gatherings, but it's not as close. And then when you get into aromantic or is it aromantic? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Or like people on the like A spectrum who have created things like queer platonic relationships where it's like you are platonically connected to someone and there's like no sex or anything like that, but that person is like your life partner, you know, and it's like that's how I am with my roommate, you know, it's like we live together, we're not attracted to each other in any way, but you know, I'm making life decisions with them and you know, and they have a separate person who is another platonic partner for them. And you know, it's like and I'm not even that close to the other person, but still it's like there's these relationships that it's like more than friendship, but it's not romantic or sexual in any sense. And I feel like it's really annoying looking at the people who are like in hetero romantic relationships and their partner is also just their only friend, really. And they can't have close relationships with like people from the opposite sex for some reason because there's like a level of jealousy or something, and it's just like no, but that's not how you live in a society. Like you have to be in community with everyone because at the end of the day you can't do any of this alone. um and that's what I was gonna say about like Western society is like this level of individualism and trying to do things on your own. And I feel like that was a big thing for me of like trying to break that down and like actually talk to the people in my life who, you know, want to support me. Right. So I don't even know what I was gonna say, but but those are my identities. I am queer. I am gender nonconforming, non-binary, they them pronouns. Um, I like being and that's like that's why it's like gender queer too. It's just like gender queer, gender fluid because I like being masculine, I like being feminine. I like wearing um binders. There we go. It's like why can't I think of the word? I like wearing binders. I like wearing dresses, I like wearing skirts, I like doing my nails. Not necessarily makeup. I'm just not into makeup, but I want to get like a tinted foundation or something just so a tinted sunscreen. There we go. Just so my skin could look even. But otherwise I don't really care. But um what else is it saying? Oh, and I'm demisexual, aromantic, pansexual. I feel like there's a demi pan like I feel like there's a pan version that uses the demi, but I'm like some all these new terms, I can't keep up. I'm getting old. No, but and something like queer is also like a reclaimed, slur as well. But I like just saying queer as well because I'm like, nothing can really define me. I'm, moving through life. I was on T, I got off of it. I might get back on it. Um, and do it at like a smaller scale. We'll see. Um, I'm making music now, but that's neither here or there. It's ambient music. Don't worry, I'm not about to just like start rapping or singing. I mean, I will be singing, but it's ambient music. Don't worry. I don't know if I'm gonna promote it here, but we'll see. Um, yeah, I'm like I didn't want to talk too long, but I definitely had to say that because I'm like, yeah, it's June, it's Pride. If you didn't know, now you know about me and my identity. And I'm like, society could be so different. And I'm like, there's just so much hate and like pain in the world in general. And it's like, it's just really sad. It's really sad and it's really annoying too. And it's like, yes, I am trans, like that is what I'm a part of the trans umbrella as someone who is non-binary, who um but it's like I'm not a binary trans person and that's what makes it like questionable. But it's like the fact that trans people are being scapegoated and used as like this boogeyman, and it's like no, trans rights are human rights. And what they're what our government is doing is going after bodily autonomy and being able to control what you want to do to yourself. That is what is going on. And that overlaps with abortion rights because the government should have no say in what you do to your body. No matter if you like whatever, if you don't agree with what somebody else is doing, which again, there's like what a 0.5% um regret rate for any trans um surgeries versus like something like a heart replacement or something, like but the fact of the matter is this all comes down to bodily autonomy and what you want to do to your body, and the government should not have any say or any control about it. And the fact of the matter is like the more and more that they're able to tell people, specifically trans people and women, what they can and can't do, the more it's just going to turn into, you know, I mean, and it's already kind of going this far of like a worker class and a rich class, and people just being forced to work, birth, and those babies turning into workers. Like that is what is going on. Like that's the trajectory. Like I don't. It's crazy so that people can see that, like pull back and see that that is what they're trying to do. But I'm like, I wasn't even trying to talk about this today. But um, yeah, like protect trans kids, protect trans adults, protect the dolls. Um, specifically, and I'm saying dolls, and that I feel like it's become a general term, but it's like that came from black trans women specifically, and I'm like, no, protect black trans women Um, and it's never too late. That's it as well. It's like never too late to change how you feel. I mean, again, like I feel like the end of I Saw the TV Glow is such a great example of like you could just be living in through this like numbness and you're internally screaming to make a change until it's like too late, right? And you end up like taking your life or something. And it's like it really doesn't have to um get that far. I feel like the biggest thing is and this is the biggest thing too cuz like there's the whole thing about like they're doing surgeries and stuff to kids and it's like no, that's not what's happening. People are socially transitioning when they're younger and they might go on something like a puberty blocker, which I wish I went through because that would have made me really examine like what do I want to happen to my body. And it was like puberty was like one of the biggest things that caused my depression as a child, like because I was like I don't want my body to change. I don't want to look like this. I don't want, all of these things to happen, and it's like that's what made me suicidal. That was one of the things. Not There's other things going on too, but that was a big one for me growing up. And it's like 21 years now since I almost like killed myself when I was 12, like, and that was just like because of a culmination of things, but that was definitely one of the things. And in my head, I didn't realize it, but yeah, and it's like puberty blockers is like the main thing that someone who is younger would go through. And then by the time they're 18, they can choose to go get on hormones or, go through their natural transition or their natural puberty. Get on hormones to look like the gender that they identify more with, or they go through, a natural puberty. That's what happens. Aside from that, they're socially transitioning, which just means they're using pronouns that they feel comfortable using, not the ones they were using before. They're they're dressing more closer to how they identify and a name change. Like that's usually it. And it's like for a lot of people, both young and old, that is what you go through. You go through a social transition. Maybe you'll do hormones. Maybe you'll do like actual surgeries, like facial feminization surgeries, or you'll get bottom surgery, whether that's, getting um, removal or an addition, to put it as simply. But I will say again, like, you have to thank non binary trans people who fought so that to identify as trans, you didn't have to do medical transitions. Because otherwise, even like I think 10 years ago, if you wanted to change any like of your gender markers or anything like that, you had to also be medically transitioning. And it's like a lot of people don't want to do that. And it's like it shouldn't be a requirement for you to have a piece of paper that says male instead of female or X in my case. Um, which I'm excited about. I need to do that. At least on my ID, like my government ID. But yeah, and then what was I even going to talk about today? No, but I'm going to talk about it briefly. Oof, burps. But this is what happens when I'm just pausing. I'm just staring into space. And now you can see that if you're on my Patreon. Or you don't see it because you're listening. Um yeah, what was I going to talk? Oh, I was going to talk about these cuz I get served on Instagram. I get served It's usually the vertical Chinese dramas. Sometimes they're historical, sometimes they're is it historical? I guess. Yeah, like fantasy, historical fantasy, or they're like modern. A lot of them, and I've talked about this before, I think, about like just the grovel um dramas, and was realizing I was into it because I like seeing, a man on his knees begging and crying, and I wasn't getting off to it, but I was just like, this satisfies me. Yes, I am satisfied watching this man be upset. Nice. But and then I realized it's like, oh, because I have a sadistic side. And I'm into that. Which kind of going back to my sexuality and everything like that, I am demisexual and all this stuff, but I am also a dominant. Uh I'm have a bit a bit of a sadist, but in like a gentle dom situation, like, and for me as someone who is demi, it's like for kink just feels like a fun activity. It's like, oh, we're changing it up in the bedroom. We're spicing it up. We're having a little fun. I'm going to tie you up and stuff. But again, it's like I still need to like get to know somebody. And I mean, in general, you would want to get to know somebody in the kink community because there is a level of trust that you need to have, especially if you are like the submissive and you're like, you want things done to you. And you have to trust that your dom is going to like actually listen to your safe words and stuff, and like stop the scene and check in with you and whatnot. Like there's a level of trust, and I do enjoy that about kink, that there's a level of trust, consent, and honoring people in that way. But it's like I haven't found a partner yet, but I'm also like I'm not really looking as well, because I'm like I'm doing so many other things. But ultimately I would want to be in a sort of kinky relationship with someone where I'm like, you know, doming them or whatever, because I think it's fun. I think it's a fun activity. I get to, be a little creative, doing all kinds of stuff to them, because they want me to, which is very important. Consent is important to me because that was the biggest thing when I was like in my early 20s, was like I was like coming across people who wanted me to do things to them, and I was like, okay, so what do you want me to do? And they're like, anything you want me to do. And I'm like, yeah, but that's not, I need some guidelines here. I need some limits. I need some, like require, like I can't just like, I'm not just gonna jump into, I don't know, pegging them or something. It's like, and then you're like, oh no, that's not what I wanted. And it's like, okay, yeah, what did you want? You want me to just step on you? And it's like, oh, you don't want ball and clock torture? Oh my god, I didn't mean to say the whole the whole thing. You didn't want CBT? Wow, okay. You didn't want me to like sit on your um it's harder to because I'm seeing myself say it. It's like harder to actually like just say stuff. I'm like, wait a minute. Oh my god. But yeah, I'm like, I need some guidelines here. Like I can't just like jump and do stuff. Like, come on. Like you don't want your balls crushed. Okay. You don't want to get spanked. What if I was into like fucking I don't know, like a adult diaper shit? I'm not into that. But I'm like I can't even, or like scat play. I'm like, oh, that disgusts me. What's something that I'm like not into? I don't know. I'm just like those are the main ones, but I feel like there's other stuff. Um Or like, what if I was in a knife play and I just wanted to cut you up and you're like, "Oh, no, I didn't want this." Like, I have you tied down and I'm like cutting you. And even then, I'm like, there would definitely need to be some guidelines, you know. I think I like temperature play. Temperature play is kind of fun because you can just like put a toy in a freezer, or especially if you have like a glass toy or metal. Those are great. They hold temperature really well. Think of like, or if you're just like low cost kink, you can always just get like ice cubes or something, and just like if a person's tied up. Oh my god, it's so funny to watch myself describe this. But like if a person's tied up, I'm like, you're just gonna get tied up, okay? I have handcuffs. Like, I mean, I don't have handcuffs. I have cuffs specifically. Like, I'm ready. I'm prepared. No, if a person's tied, if a person's tied up, and like, yeah, you don't have like anything. You could just do like ice cubes and like either like a like sort of nipple play situation, and you just run it around their nipples or something, or just letting it drop down their chest or something like that. I'm like, that's kind of fun. You know, you're being creative. And then it's like you go from the nipple play with the ice cubes to then like you're like sucking on their nipples or something. And now I feel like I'm narrating smut. But so I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna move on. And I'm gonna have this free for somebody to watch, I guess. I'm like, I feel like I have consistent people that listen to this, but they don't interact ever, so I don't know. I have no idea. I have no idea who my audience is. Um, and I hope to find out because I'm like, I wanna like chat with you guys. I like talking about movies. I think it's fun. I think it's fun. Like we just hang out in the Discord and do whatever. I'm like on my phone a lot. Now I'm like, do you guys want to be friends? Like, I mean, we could be friends or whatever. um. Anyway, I'm like, I got on a tangent because of these damn groveling men on these vertical dramas, but so to get into the two that I recently watched, because I mainly wanted to talk about them, because I I don't download the app and buy it per episode. I usually find it so then I can watch it back to back. And the the found version, like when I watch it in that way, it ends up being like an hour 45 or something. So it's basically the length of the movie. So that's why I wanted to talk about them during the mini-sode. But what was I oh, so there was one that I feel like I've watched at least in Chinese, but then I got advertised a Korean version of it, which is kind of funny, and it's called I Raised His Mistress's Daughter. And I was like, this shit's crazy. Like, what do you mean? And that one was about like this woman finding out that her husband um cheated on her since like the beginning basically, and is continuing to cheat on her, and has his like mistress pregnant a second time, um and found out that the daughter that she was raising was actually his child with his mistress. And that sounds kind of confusing, but basically she wasn't able to give birth, and so the husband was like, why don't we adopt this baby? And like, first of all, where the fuck did you get a baby from? And it turned out to be his secretary's child. And yeah, so she's been raising her. And what fucking sucks about this whole situation is that when the main character isn't around, this secretary is like, yeah, you should hate your, adoptive mom because she's keeping me and your dad from being like together. And it's like, what the fuck? You're feeding all these lies to her. So, after she finds that out, after the husband continuously is like taking her the mistress's side in front of the wife, and there was like this whole thing where it was like an anniversary and this very heavy framed picture almost like kills her basically, but he goes to try to save the mistress and daughter instead. She's like, okay, I can't do this anymore, I'm leaving you, gets a divorce. He's also like fucking off on vacation with her, and they get like the daughter as well. And it's just like, do you like, why are you still here? Why are you doing this? And he's like, but she's my first love and I owe it to her because she saved my company or whatever. And it's like, fuck you. Literally, fuck you. And then so she leaves and then she goes to her granddad. Turns out she's like the heir to this like really rich family. And it's like, oh, okay. Like, whatever. And um I'm like, what happens? Da, 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 da. So now that, the divorce is finalized or whatever, she runs away and he's like, she would never leave me. I'm all that she has. Yada yada. Um he his mom is like, my son isn't gonna marry you. You are worth nothing. And wants him to get married to the heir to that company. And they go over to this party that is essentially the granddad's party to get her a new husband. So there's only supposed to be single men showing up, and he's not single technically, but he shows up. Oh, sh- all of them show up except the daughter, and the mom is like, "Why are you here?" and starts to bully her and fight her. And then the granddad comes out of nowhere and is like, "Why are you fucking with my um granddaughter?" And she's like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry, oh my god." And they basically become poor essentially, like they're in ruins now because she's like, I'm taking back what I gave you, I deserve this, y'all fucking suck. And then also, oh my god, I forgot about this. The final straw was actually um like before she left officially, but the final straw was actually she finally was pregnant with his child. Somehow the secretary finds this out. She fakes getting beat up and gets the main character drugged and then taken. And the secretary shows up with the husband to a body bag of the person who beat the secretary up, and it's actually just the main character in the body bag. And the husband is like, yeah, beat him more, beat him up. How dare they do that to my mistress that I don't actually love, but I am indebted to her because she saved my life. It's like, oh, she saved your life? That's why you're fucking her? What? What? And so because of that situation, she ends up losing the child. And that is the reason she goes back to the granddad, not any of the other stuff. I don't know why I fucking forgot this. But literally, she tries to text him photos of the ultrasound and said, you killed our baby. And while he's in the shower, the mistress deletes that off of his phone. So he never finds out until she actually tells him, and he's like, "What do you mean? We were gonna have a child that looked like us? No, wow, 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 wow." And I'm like, what else happens? And the fact that they were making out at their anniversary party, and she got recordings of this, or somebody did. I forgot. I think she hired like a private detective or whatever. And in order to show, like she's been cheating and that child isn't mine. And actually, we're not even married. They weren't even actually married. He's been married to the secretary this whole time. He never filed the marriage license. So they're not even fucking married. She's just there. I mean, she found this out later. Um, so she's like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna fucking leave. What? That's not my child. You've been cheating. She's pregnant again. I'm fucking out of here." Um, and then she has a lawyer who was in love with her since like college, and they end up together. But before that, I'm like, it does get crazier because this fucking so the daughter isn't even the husband's daughter. This fucking woman actually has her own like fucking boyfriend or husband or ever separate from this husband. She just was using him for money. She didn't actually care about this man. She was just using him for money, and she wanted a better life for her daughter. And so I'm trying to remember how I'm like, it's been a second since I watched this. But basically, the person she actually loves ends up getting killed. And she's like, how could you? Oh no. Da 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 da. Why, why, why. Wah, wah, wah. And, I don't know. It ends with her, the main character, being happy. The, secretary being in jail, I think. And then the husband groveling all alone and broke. Yeah. Wait, that yeah was kind of loud. But yeah, that's how that ended. But on the flip side, there was a different one, and I wanted to like kind of end my watching these vertical dramas in succession era with this one because I was like, oh, this is good and wholesome. This one was called The Day I Heard His Heart. Heard His Heart. And it has a similar setup, like a lot of these groveling ones where, she's like, my husband of 3 years, he doesn't love me. He's still in love with his first love. Da, 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 da. He doesn't communicate. It's like always a lack of fucking communication. Nobody wanting to answer, nobody wanted to talk to each other, answer things. And it pisses me off. I'm like, communication is so important. Just say what you need to say. Please. Oh my god. I'm tired of people not wanting to be in conflict. It's like, no, just say what you fucking need to say. Okay, let's get to the point. Let's not fucking go around. Get to the fucking point. And I'm like, okay, and if it hurts my feeling, it hurts my feelings. At least you said it. At least I can correct my behavior. And at least by my actions, you'll know if I'm a good person or not, or if you should just give up on me, right? Because if you come to someone and you're like, hey, the thing that you did actually hurt my feelings. And it's like, sure, that wasn't your intent, but intent doesn't control how someone's going to react to it. And the reaction is what matters. So if what you did hurt someone unintentionally, evaluate that, change the behavior, do better. Don't say you'll do better, do fucking better. That's it. Um, and so, like, in this, she's like, all right, I'm going to sleep with him. And then after that, I'm going to get a divorce. And the very next day, she's like, all right, so I want to get a divorce. And all of a sudden, she's like hearing his voice. And he's like, no, but I love her. I can't get a divorce. Not a divorce. But he has a fucking stoic ass face. So you wouldn't know what the fuck he was thinking. You'd just be like, oh, I guess he doesn't feel anything from me wanting to get a divorce. But no, I love that she could hear his voice finally and like his inner thoughts because he was like, I love my wife so much. Oh, I just want to do like really sexual stuff with her, but he didn't want to scare her or whatever because he's like, I'm very into her and I don't want to scare her away. And he feels nothing for this woman who is allegedly his first love or whatever. He like feels nothing for her. And so it ends up turning out that her best male friend has been in love with her, and he's been teaming up with this woman that works in the office with her husband to break them apart. Or was it? Actually, I'm like, it's been a minute since I watched this one too. But basically, they teamed up. Oh, no, no, no. No, 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 no. Never mind, never mind. He is working with her, but he's also working with another friend in her friend group to break them up so that he can be with her. And this woman in the friend group is in love with him, but rather than she just wants him to be happy, I guess, with the main character. And it's like, or you could just get over yourself or get over him, move on. I mean, obviously she wasn't happy, so yeah, being supportive, her being, I'm like, you're not even her fucking friend. You're trying to, ugh, it was crazy. That was crazy. That was a crazy twist. But I'm trying to think. So yeah, it starts coming out like she's realizing like, oh no, he actually has no feelings for her. Um because at first she was like out with her friends, her fucking snake ass friends, except for one lady. She was nice. She was like, "What the fuck are y'all doing? Where is this behavior coming from? I have no I didn't know any of this was happening." But she she's like, "Oh, he didn't even want to stop and say hi and introduce me as his wife." But she got the courage to do that, and he was like, "Oh my god, she wanted me to acknowledge her. Oh my god, is she jealous? Oh my god. Oh my god." And that's like his internal thoughts. I need to get some water actually. I'm like, do I want to stop recording to get some water or yeah. Okay, I'm back with my water and my gender fluid cup from the Target Pride line, like I think 2 or 3 years ago when they actually cared. And didn't and actually cared about DEI and stuff, and they were collaborating with different queer artists. I should have got two of these honestly. It's like my one of my favorite mugs. It was only like $5. And it's like, sure, I'm not going to Target, but just like with any protest, I'm not gonna it's wasteful to, throw away something. Like I feel like when people protest like makeup products or whatever, it's like use the thing, just don't buy more. Like why would you buy more? You're creating waste and that's not good for the environment actually. And like I feel like people don't realize how much intersects with everything. Like it's not just one thing, it's another thing too. But anyway, I forgot where I left off. Yeah, so her snake ass friends are trying to break her up. Because the one guy friend wants to be with her and wants to be make her happy or whatever, and it's like, no. And so when she was like, actually, it's been going great, they're like, no, he's awful, probably. And so they try to plant a camera and make it seem like because they invite him over to a friend hangout, they make it seem like he came on to the one friend that is, trying to betray her and everything with the guy friend, and he didn't do that. And they find the recording too, and it's just like, okay, so y'all are just stupid. But anyway, so with the woman that is his first love or whatever, turns out she's a fucking stalker and made this shit up and is acting like this because he, one, is just like oblivious, and two, just hasn't. No, he's just really fucking oblivious, actually. He doesn't, he just doesn't know that this is going on. He doesn't know that she's like acting like they're together in the office. So when the main character starts coming around more and he's like, "This is my wife," and he's wanting to have sex with her in his office because he's like, just like a few minutes, just a few minutes. Like, oh my, he's just like, oh my God, she's being so like assertive. Like, oh my God, like I'm so like turned on or whatever. I'm like, this is so adorable. Um, and when she actually vocalizes like, "Hey, this is happening," he's like, "What? That's happening?" And then literally announces to everyone like, "Hey, this is my wife." Because he brings her to one of the meetings because he's like, "Oh my God, I get to hang out with my wife at work. She brought me lunch. Oh my God," like hair behind his ear type shit. Um, and everybody's just this is the funniest thing about these vertical dramas is like rather than the you pick up the subtext of it all of just like, oh, people might be talking behind their back or something. It's literally people talking behind their back in front of their face and giving exposition for what's going on, and it's like, oh, okay, I guess, well, I don't have to think about it or see a separate scene or have a character explain this because some character that's right in front of their fucking face is gonna explain what we already are seeing, and it's really fucking funny. Um and then yeah, he fires her because he's like, no. This makes me uncomfortable. I don't like it. And then after that, that's when the the guy friend and that other girl try to set up the husband. That doesn't work either. And through the passage of time, the husband starts to vocalize more and more what he wants to do to her, and how much he loves her, and all this stuff. And at the end of it, she stops hearing his voice because he is now actually saying what's on his mind. I'm like, that's cute. That's awesome. Yes, talk your shit. I thought this was gonna be quick, but it's not, and I guess we're doing a full episode. But yeah, I watched those. I will hopefully watch an actual movie soon. I swear. I swear. And then I have to get on my I have to figure out a schedule for um filming the other. I'm so distracted because I'm looking for my closing out statement for my podcast and what I say and what I do. But oh, I love that. That's not it either. But yeah, I'm probably gonna talk more about my Patreon from now on because yes, follow that. And what the hell? I can't find it. I'm like, I usually have it up somewhere on my thing. I'm just going to have to do it off the dome. But yeah, that's it for this week. You can follow me on my Instagram at V underscore new R underscore. That's new R with a E. I have a TikTok again. I guess I still have that TikTok. That should just be V underscore new R. You can follow me at patreon.com/V Noirs Film Club. Through that, at the base, um, subscription, $3. You can also join me on Discord. And yeah, that should be all. I will be posting on Patreon more. And I think when I have more of a following on YouTube, then I could do the membership over there too. And then maybe that'll be like a fourth video per month. So it'd be like a YouTube exclusive thing. And then Well, no, I won't do that actually. I feel like I'll just keep it either Patreon. I'll keep the Patreon stuff and the YouTube stuff the same and just combine it because I would rather not have like an exclusive thing so where you'll feel like you have to subscribe to both in order to not miss out on anything. I mean, I'm just me, but I'm like, yeah, I'm like I would rather not do that. And it's like no, it'll just be both and it'll be the same. I will say I'll probably not like Patreon will have the most. I'm not going to bring over things that I've already done onto the YouTube. It'll just be like from whenever I'm able to do YouTube memberships will be whatever things I'm doing for the Patreon from that point on rather than having it uh I saw a text message having it be like, "Oh, well, you have to also join the YouTube membership because I have exclusive YouTube things." And it's like, "No. Either or." And I'll keep the prices the same. And have it be like if you're doing $3. I if that's how a membership works, I have no idea. But you'll get the Discord link unless I can't do link stuff on YouTube, then the Discord will only be like a Patreon thing. And maybe I'll do like a link at some point and then close that link and be like, okay, that's enough people. Like, I don't really want too many people on the Patreon because if I'm like the only moderator, it'll be kind of hard to pay attention to everything. But yeah, that'll be it for now. And I'll see y'all next time. Bye.